Okay, we're on the way. The Moon City Express, day 2. Here we go. Got a fresh battery, and I'm ready to have at it. I got it on pedal assist 3. Let's go ahead and go toward the bridge. Oh, see, pedal assist 3 is really easy today. We're gonna knock it down a notch. In fact, we'll knock it down all the way to 1. All right. So, the intentions of the Moon City Express is so I, in the person of the Moon City Dispatch, my local publication, which I've been extremely lax on publishing lately, I intend to publish about my experience in the north side of Springfield, Missouri. I started to tell the story about it yesterday, but I didn't go far with it. But the history behind the north side, Moon City, as we call it, begins in the late 1860s, I suppose, although I haven't seen that fact in print yet. But it must be in print somewhere, because historians cite it, and that the local people in Springfield at the time, there was North Springfield. Well, actually, North Springfield wasn't even there in the late 1860s. But, you know, people wanted the railroad to come in, and the people that lived in Springfield, there was a saying that the railroad would bring the tracks, they would take the tracks to the moon before they bring them into Springfield, hence the name Moon City. But unbeknownst to them at the time, the railroad was intending to come to Springfield, but there were no suitable places, well, not good enough, in regular Springfield. So they found a place just north of Division Street, and I haven't actually firmed up whether Division Street was an actual street at the time. I think it was, but I'm not positive about that. But anyway, they found a place, the railroad found a place north of Division Street, and they dropped their tracks right into town. They came in just west. They were traveling from the east, and they came in just west of the Washington Avenue, and that became the throat of the rail yard between Washington and Grant, which Grant obviously was renamed later on. But anyway, ultimately there were 13 such lines of tracks laid out, and it became quite, well, you know, businesses, you have to realize that the people that came through the railroad during all hours were all kinds of different kinds of people. And so Moon City was also a pejorative name for the kinds of activities that went on around here back then. So the community north of Division Street became known as North Springfield, and it was quite the city, and consequently, the residents of both cities decided to merge in well, first of all, the railroad came into town in 1870. And then by 1886, the towns had decided to merge and become the city of Springfield. And that's when Springfield was born. Although some better people might cite it differently, I don't know. And, well, looky here. I'm going to take advantage of this and go across right here. No traffic on National this morning to speak of. I wanted to go back around and see if I could locate the flock camera. There's a flock camera 1 block east of here, according to dflock.org. And I'm going to cut around and go take a look at her. It's over on Commercial Street, and we're on Blaine, I believe. East Blaine. I'll find out in a moment. Street sign right here. And that's another thing. Even though I've lived in Springfield for a couple of years now, I was very, very sick. And yes, this is Blaine Street. Okay. I was very sick. I went into the hospital in September 2024. Right after we had moved in early first part of 24 and gotten all settled in. My plan was to go back to work a little bit, not full time, but part time. And I couldn't do it. I kept getting less and less energy and sicker, as they say. Okay, one moment here. Okay, I can't see the flock camera from here. I'm gonna go ahead and take a little roam here. Anyway, in September, I recognized that my body was turning with sepsis. Turned out I had double pneumonia. I had sepsis. I had COVID, which scarred my lungs very, very badly. Long COVID, I guess they call it. See, I'm not seeing the flock camera. I'm not seeing it. Unless that's it way up there. There it is. Okay, it's on the very corner here. And it's pointed, where's it pointed? It's pointed toward Commercial. Okay. So, anyhow, so on top of that, I also had a precancerous growth on my large intestine. Well, they were worried that it was cancerous. It was too large. I had a colonoscopy done like I should, and it was too big. They couldn't take it, so they scheduled me for another one. It was too big for that machine, so then they had to come in and do a full-blown, what do they call it? A resection, a colon resection. And they ended up taking about a little over a third of my large intestine. And also, I had a large hernia in my lower intestines, what do they call it? An inguinal hernia, which is right on the inside of the thigh. And the doctor that operated on that said it was the second largest he'd ever seen. He had been a doctor for over 30 years in the field. So it was a large one. It was giant, I have to say. It was bigger than a softball. And it made my life miserable. So between the COPD, emphysema, double pneumonia, COVID, and the other thing was my memory. Somehow along the line, I think I got starved of memory, of oxygen more than once. I think when I was septic, I think is the right term to use. And my memory is just shot. I mean, I have a good memory. I still remember things, but the short-term memory is just gone. I'm like a goldfish. And you remember that movie, Finding Nemo, and the goldfish was swimming around? That's kind of like what I'm doing on this video. Just swimming around. And so anyhow, I'm thankful to God that I'm able to get out, because when I was a very active I was a drywall contractor in my previous life, and I was up and down all the time. I was on ladders, and I was on my knee. I did all kinds of stuff. And I was in every kind of environment in a building you could imagine. Very active. Ran a business out of my head for 20 years. I mean, I kept some notes, but not big notes. My notes were my contracts. My contracts were meticulous notes. And so I kept notes on my contracts. My memory was good. And then I went through this. I just kept getting, while we were still back home, I can say back home, we're home here now, but we were in California, and it just became more and more difficult. Every day that went by, I was getting to where I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't do anything. It just became more and more difficult, and finally I knew we had to do something. So anyway, here we are, and I'm thankful that I'm able to get up. I got the Moon City Express, and I'm on a trip. I'm on a trip to Moon City, which I'm here now. This is Moon City. We're on the very, very outskirts. We'll be going through Washington Street is the next street. Well, that's not it. That's Summit, which is a nice street. But the next through street on this going this way is Washington, and that's where, and maybe we'll be able to see it. I don't know, but that's where the railroad poked into the yard, and we'll try to get a good look at it. I'm going to go up into the Railroad Museum parking lot. Yeah, I heard there were military vehicles in the yard the other day, and they've parked a string of here. Let's see if I can get a good view of it for you. They've parked a string of cars. Are they cars? What are they? What are they on the tracks? But anyway, they parked a string of this train so that it obscures from this direction, it obscures the view. And the view I saw the other day, somebody took a little short video of it, and it was quite impressive. There were a lot of military vehicles coming through here. Of course, Fort Leonard Wood is not that far away from here. And so this is the Railroad Museum. This is the railroad tracks, of course. That overpass right over there, I don't know if you can see it or not. I suppose I can go over there. I don't see any signs posted. I'm going to go ahead and go over there. Do I want to go through all that? Yeah. We'll go around this way. We'll go around the back. So this is Frisco Lane. It is on the map, but it's the map's kind of, even the GIS survey is kind of vague about what goes on here. This has been railroad property forever, but obviously there's a right-of-way for the city because there's utilities that go through here. The road is marked out on the map. It's Frisco Lane. They have this structure you see crossing the tracks up here is the Jefferson Avenue footbridge. It was erected in 1902, and it is the world's longest, I believe, cantilever truss footbridge in the world, 562 feet long. Right now it's under construction because they're adding Americans with Disabilities Act compliant stairway and elevator on both ends, and I can hardly wait because I want to go on it. I can't imagine. I would take my scooter. I would take it up there, and I would film trains as they pass. I'm really loving the train business. In fact, I even adopted Orange and Black. BNSF is the local big train that comes through here. This is the Thayer subdivision, and I've got Orange and Black. You'll see. I'll show those off later. Oh, did they close me off here? I can't even get through there. Anyway, they're going. Oh, look at here. They took the fence down. Or did they? Did they? Wow. They had this thing fenced off. It was locked off for the longest time. I came through yesterday and it still had a fence up. What do they got today? They still have a fence going? There's a truck parked down there. What do they got going on here? Okay. Well, it is what it is. So you can't just up and glide through like you want, but that's all right. It gives me it does give me an idea of what they're planning here. They're planning on erecting a permanent fence, it looks like. I hope they leave viewing opportunities and just watch the trains go by. That would be important because I intend to take footage of trains and publish it. I'm a big rail cam fan. Wow, look what they got going on here. Now there's trucks parked back here. It looks like a light's on one of them. Probably security, maybe, I don't know. Railroads have their own security police force. I'm gonna find out if somebody's here. I'm gonna talk to them. Bumpity, bumpity, bumpity. There's an engine on. Yeah. Okay. And they did leave. What they got going on here? What is this? Whoa. So they have it open at either end. There's the engines over there. Oh man, that was fun. Okay, so we're going this way now. More properties boarded up down here. I'm glad to see that. This building's new, actually. You wouldn't know it by looking at it. And then what do they got going on here? Oh, we gotta go down and check that out. Oh, good. Line is a good place to cross the tracks. Line Avenue. There's a train, a BNSF train up at the top. Oh, how cool is that? Yeah. We wanted to go over here. Okay, now this is Chase. Runs parallel with Commercial. We're going to go down to Atlantic and take a load off of our butt, check the battery, get a drink, that kind of thing. Oh, the road's closed up here. What's going on there? I wonder. Huh. Oh, that's right. They're building a new roundabout. I remember now. Let's go up here. Take a load off for just a second. Ah. Okay. Now let's do this. And you know what? I'm going to have to tighten that up a little bit. That ain't right. Let's do that. There it is. Okay. So anyhow, how's my air doing? I'm empty on air. Well, no wonder. Shit, that went fast. All right, let's change valves. Really? Sure as shit. Okay. And we're still sitting on 5, okay. Yeah, let's go ahead. There it is. All right, well. You got to remember to take more air with this. That don't cut it. I couldn't have been out for very long though. Okay, so people need to know. I use 5 liters per minute of oxygen when I'm active. And these tanks, I'm using D tanks today, and when I'm using 5 liters per minute, and the tanks are filled to 2,000 psi before I begin, I should get 56 minutes of use out of a tank. But you know what throws me? Today went quicker than yesterday, which is why I probably misjudged this, but unlocking the tank, or yeah, unlocking this trike takes more time than you would think when you're in my kind of condition. And That's probably what happened. So anyway, I forgot to mark the time. And we got to turn this back on. And then we're going to bump this up to 3. And we're going to go ahead and turn around and go the other way now. Although we found a good way through to this side of town. This is the Woodland Heights neighborhood. Getting back to the railroad, back in the day, this was where all the railroad workers lived, was here. A lot of these houses, I read somewhere that 40% of the houses in this neighborhood are older than 1900. I totally believe it. Well, just look. And so but the stores and shopping was on commercial, and they had to cross 13 lines of track with trains. Very, very busy commercial place. Children, old folks, didn't matter who, dogs, cats, whatever. Had to traipse across. Oh, I've been wanting to go down there. I am going to go down there. I just changed, okay. They had to traipse across 13 lines. And, you know, there were stories of tragedy more. A lot of the time, there were injuries and deaths. And it prompted the city to build that footbridge, which was completed in 1902. And it connected Springfield and North Springfield across the tracks, which by that time they were all one city, but still virtually distinct, separate entities, even though they were together. And which brings me back to when I moved here. Yeah, I didn't know, but that rivalry still exists. There is still a rivalry between North Springfield and Springfield. People still get defensive. They won't want you to. It's just the funniest thing. And I thought people were just, you know how people are. I didn't realize that it was it's been a war that's been going on for over 150 years. And don't forget, there's a national cemetery here. This is Springfield, right on the line between North and South. The site of a large, I don't remember which battle at the moment. But anyway, there was several battles that were here in the Civil War, and I think one very large one. And the National Cemetery is built here to prove it and remember it and honor it. Thousands of men gave their lives that day. Maybe it was over the course of more than one day. Whatever the case, this rivalry has been going on for 150 years. Right out of the Civil War, and Missouri was the gateway to the West, and so when they opened up the railroads, just imagine the mayhem and the chaos. Oh, yeah, Springfield happens to be the place where Wild Bill Hickok began his gunfighter reputation in the town square. He killed a man named Davis Tutt, I think his last name was, and gunned him down. The other man fired first and missed, And Hickok took his time and aimed, killed the man right there in the town square. So here we are. Now this is the Grange, the granary, and I wanted to see this. I wanted to see what it was like up close. I've been looking at it. I've been looking at it on Google Maps just to see if I could tell what's going on with it. Oh, I see police lights down there. Something's going on across the way. Okay. And then this street, it shows it on the map. It's not named. Like it's an alley, but it's a street. Look. And we're this far away from the tracks. And I think, and there's a gate right there. Let's see if I can get you to the gate. Can you see the gate? And not too far from here, or maybe you have to cross Grant. I don't remember now. Or maybe we're across Grant already. At any rate, we don't have only so much oxygen. We need to keep a move on here. I'm gonna have to carry more oxygen with me next time I come out for a ride. Yeah, we'll go back down through Commercial Street and head on home. Can't do without oxygen. I've lost my pulse oximeter. So it takes your pulse and reads your oxygen. Oxypulse meter, whatever they call it. I've lost it. I gotta get a new one. Can't find that one. Because they tell you, of course it doesn't really matter. On one hand, it doesn't matter. They say that organ death begins when you get below 88%, whatever that number stands for. And we don't want organ death. Anyway, I'm gonna have to stop and readjust my oxygen a little bit, or my chair, I should say. Now, see, I can't remember. Is this Lyon or is this Grant? I'll find out in a moment. I believe it's Grant, but I can't swear to it. Yes, it's Grant. Grant's pretty busy. I'm going to stay away from Grant. Okay. There's a good place to take pictures of trains in there. glad I got this. I can get out and breathe the air and feel the sun. Even though I can't process it, I got my oxygen with me, and so I feel good. I've lost so much of my muscle tone. Do you know that almost 2 years, well, 1 year, a good solid year and a half, no matter how you slice it. I've just been so messed up. Okay. I've lost so much muscle tone. I bet I could take do I dare? I'll go the other way, that's what I'll do. Yeah, once I'm on that, I'm committed. Yeah, once I get on that, I'm committed. So I will hold off on that business. Oh man, there's the Ozarks Model Railroad Association. I'd like to go in there, but they're closed on the weekends, I'm sure. Yeah. Oh, I see they got some re-roofing going on here. Framing. Good. There's a roofing truck. So we're going to go and stop at the farmer's market up here if it's open, which it should be. I don't know why it wouldn't be. And get a little drink of tea, check my oxygen. Although I'm sure it's still good. I still feel air coming up in this way. Dirk's Tavern, that's a game store that my son likes. Yeah, I'm so glad I got this. Wow. This. I'm going to have to fix that somehow. Yeah. Anyhow. And I still have over half a tank. Good, good. All right. Yeah, much better. Yeah. Okay, well. Oh, there's that. Let's see. Well, I can't believe nobody set up today. Really? Huh. Oh, okay. Isn't that something? Oh, looky here. Uh-huh. Yes, they do. Okay. We're going to get into it. It's going to take me some time. I've tried starting up a channel a few times. Not really knowing what I'm doing. And I still don't know what I'm doing. But this one, I'm tired of trying. I'm planning on actually making it happen this time. because I intend to talk about things that are actually important to me. And if nobody ever watches, well, that's fine. And I've got about a 5-minute ride before I'm home, so maybe not even that long. So let's go into a little bit of it. I mentioned earlier that I was glad that I was thankful to God that, oh, you go ahead. That I've been able to get out, get some exercise, because the world has just gone crazy. And I know I'm not unique. I mean, we all have our unique insights. I mean, my insights are not your insights, and yours are not mine, but at the same time, they're likely very similar. And you know, I think of myself as a Christian, but I don't think of myself as a Christian that I grew up with. My grandfather was a preacher, and my dad was a deacon. And I felt, for many years, I felt like I was supposed to do something in the church. And then I came to realize that my being a husband and a father and a contributing member to society was really very, very important, because we all want our descendants to have a better world than we have. So the idea is to leave a better world. And yet today, here we find ourselves in this crazy, crazy, crazy world. Where people have lost trust in our institutions, all of them, from the media, the government, the church, family, everything. People have lost trust. They've been abused, and but having the depth or the life experience gives one the ability to see in the past and see what was going on. And I can see that we've had war waged on us for decades. And I can surmise about the times before I was born that the war has always been on, and that there truly is a battle between good and evil, but it's not at all what people think. It goes on in the mind. The battlefield is the mind. And we like to call ourselves Christians or Catholics or Jews or whatever, because we put our stock in a certain set, a certain organized system of belief. And that's our religion. Even atheism qualifies, in my opinion, for what it's worth. Atheism is a religion, and that, under that definition, and there's certain things they're going to believe in. I can see where Christianity, I've gone back, I've studied it in detail as far as the history of it. It's my opinion. What little I know, I'm just a guy. But it looks to me like Rome co-opted the religion on purpose. And they co-opted it because they they would not tolerate a Jewish Messiah. Why would they? It's a foreign king. And they conquered Israel, or as they called it, Palestine. And why would they tolerate it? There's no reason to tolerate it. So they took it over from within. And they had political reasons. Ended up taking over the church. But it really worked to God's plan. And we're here to do it again. Only this time, the belief system is different. Let me put it this way, and I fully intend to flesh this out. God is present in everything in the world. Every living being, every dead thing for that matter, any kind of material. Because there is this duality. There's the material and there's the immaterial. There's the finite, the infinite. The left and the right, the in and the out, the light and the dark. And so on. And we see it. We're in God's image that way. We comprehend it. We may not understand it completely. But even God, in the Bible, expressed remorse, regret, more than once. And even the person of God the Father is almost in a duality. Look at the opposite of Christ from his Father. Not opposite, that's not really the correct. Let's see, let's bump this up. Let's go all the way to 5. Oh, it's locked down, okay. At any rate, we're here in the image of God. We have his power in a lot of things. In a lot of things we don't have the power over. We can't do some things. I mean, this all came from somewhere, right? So that part of us that was split apart from God, that part that remained with God or in God or outside of the material, that part, the incorporeal, that part is able to do so much. Anyhow, we're almost home. And I've had about enough.